Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're going to be working on the F250, the 2024 Super Duty 6.7 liter diesel, and we're going to do an oil change. Here's all my products I got right here. These are all Ford Motorcraft, so they want to make sure you're using Ford parts, especially when your Ford is under warranty. But we're going to get started with the Super Duty, and this is a 6.7 Power Stroke. First thing we're going to do is we're going to get the hood popped. And the hood pop, we're going to pop it right here. Let's take a look at this power plant. All right, there we go. Got some light on the subject. If you'll look on your oil cap right here, it says SAE 10W30 diesel motor oil. Or you can use 5W40 if you're pulling a lot of heavy loads. Now, I do not pull a lot of heavy loads, so I'm going to use this 10W30. We'll go from there. Now, we're going to be changing the motor oil, and here's our oil filter here. And the part number there is FL2124S, and the motor oil is here, and this is made for Power Stroke diesel. And also, I got a fuel filter kit, which this is the filter that goes by the tank right here. And this is the filter here that goes on top. And we'll see where all those go. All right, pull this drain plug on this engine. This is a 5/8 inch wrench. We're going to put that, it fits good and snug. All righty. I'm going to get that on here. I've got to get this set just right and be ready for it because it's coming off of there. There we go. Now I'm going to go to the top while I'm doing that and undo the cap on the top. And always make sure your container's big enough because that's 15 quarts is a lot. All right, next thing we're going to do, we're going to wipe this oil filter off a little bit with a rag, and we're going to see if we can't turn it by hand. Oh yeah, it's coming on. Okay, so I'm going to move this over a little bit so we can catch the drips from this oil filter, because it's going to come off of there pretty quickly. There it comes out of there now. We'll let it drip for a little bit out of there. Now see, there's a rubber O-ring right here. We need to make sure that that goes back on the oil drain plug. And you want to make sure that you got that O-ring on your drain plug and not down in your drain, because you will develop a serious leak. I'm going to take that off and show it to you here in just a second. But that's important. That flipped over just perfectly. So far, we're not making too bad of a mess. Next thing you want to make sure of is you want to make sure that this surface here, that your O-ring didn't come off of your oil filter. Because if your oil filter ring comes off, that'll cause a serious leak too. All right, we're going to let these gradually drip for a little while. This oil, I'm sure this is some kind of metal magnetic right here. but it's no shavings on it whatsoever. The oil feels really good. Feels good still, so that's a good sign. All right, now everything is through dripping. I'm gonna wipe this down a little bit right here. You'll see that rubber O-ring, it came off. Be real careful of that. Put that back on there like it's supposed to go. May want to replace that, some of you guys. I'm not gonna replace it. It ain't that old. Ain't got that many miles on this truck. And it ain't hurt. It ain't overheated. None of that stuff. So all right. You don't want to over torque that for sure. All right. Then we're going to take a little bit of this oil right there and put it on this seal, this O-ring on this filter, because we do not want to put it on there dry and it twist around on us. I'll put a little bit all the way around this little thing. Put our new filter on here. Alrighty, and that is that. Now we got a nice new filter, and we are through underneath the bottom of this truck. All right, the fuel filter on the bottom is right in front of the tank. It's right here. And the way this is gonna be is we're gonna have to get under here best we can. First thing we gotta do on this filter is we gotta push this little pin right here. And we gotta unplug this harness here. Okay, now that's undone. We'll hold that out of the way. Then we're gonna drain this a little bit. So we need to drain that right there. So this part here, we're gonna turn and we're gonna let the fuel pressure off of it. And it's dripping right there. Let's keep us from making a huge mess anyway in the shop. Drain it in this bucket. All right, we can see now that it's down to a trickle. So the next thing we got to do is we got to take these bolts out right here and right here. And I think there's 5 or 6 of them. First of all, let's cut this off since this is already drained. Okay, all right, that's drained. Now, let's see, I'm gonna show you guys, I'm gonna back it up and show you guys these bolts a little bit better. There's one here, one there, one here, one here, one here, and one down there on that end. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that one down here on the end first. try to get a better light on the subject for you. There's one right there. All right, that one's loose. And there's one here. And we drain that to keep it from just flowing fuel everywhere, because it's going to. Once we pull this filter out. And one here. I'm gonna leave that one in there. I'm gonna take these other off first, and then we'll get that off. Now that I got it off of there, I'm gonna ease it down, and there's how it goes right there, just like that. I'm gonna take this and set it down. Now that we've got it set down underneath here, let's pull it out, see what it looks like. This is what it looks like right here. So we're gonna swap that bad boy out. Got the new one, and we've got a new gasket that goes right here also. So let's go ahead and swap that out. Here's the new one here. Pull the plastic off of it. Let's see. Plastic, and here's the new gasket here. Let's go ahead and grab both of these things and go down here to see how this goes. Looks to me like it goes just like that. Might be a little tricky. Let me get that bucket out from underneath there again. Okay. The way this, I'm gonna try to show y'all how this pulls out of there. And the way it does is you take it right here and you push. You see this filter on this side, and you push this away like that, and it pulls straight up. And that's it right there. Then we'll take this old gasket out of here and get rid of it. We're gonna put the new gasket in. And now the new gasket is in place, and this goes like this. It goes right in there, and then it presses just like that. And that's it. You know it's in there when it doesn't come out like that, you see. Now we'll go reinstall it the same way that we took it out of there. Let's see what it looks like underneath here. This is what it looks like under there. Let's make that a little bit better where you can see. That's the inside of that fuel filter. You want to check, make sure there's no dirt around those edges all the way around, and just make sure there ain't nothing going to compromise the seal of this filter, you know, when we put it back on. So, and everything on here looks good and clean, so let's go ahead and install it. All right, so this side here goes there, and let's put it back up in there. Let's see if we can't get this to ratchet in there real quick, like. Just turn it by hand a little bit, won't hurt nothing. right. I'm just getting these where they're snug. That's tight. That's tight. That's tight. That's tight. That one's tight. Don't forget, plug your plug back in and pull on it. Make sure it's in. All right, there we go. Now we'll go back and double check all of them. Make sure they're good and tight. Yep, everything's tight. Okay. All right. I also want to make sure this is tight. Right there. You don't want that loose either. All right, now that we got these off, you see this one comes off by pulling this part right here. This one comes off by pulling this out, but you got to mash these tabs on this side here and here. And this one you just pull up on this green tab. So we got all of these off now. Let's see if we can't get this out of here. All right, now I'm gonna show you how to get this off. Now, just to be honest with you, I have already removed this and dumped the fuel out of it, because fuel's gonna come out when you do this, but I'm doing this to show you the steps. Once you get all of these off, this thing spins just like this. It spins, and then it pulls up, and that's how it comes out. And the reason it spins is it has a lock pin right here, and that little pin goes in that slot right there, and that's what holds it down in there. Used to, on the older models, it had a screw that held it in, but I guess they've graduated away from that. Now, when you put your new one back in there, you want to line that little spot up right there on top with that little hole right here, right there. And that is going to make it slide in there like it's supposed to go. So let's see. It should just kind of slot down in there. Let me get this out of the way. And see, it's in there now. And it won't come up. Okay. Now, we're going to put these on in reverse order of which I took them off. There's that one, and it's locked in. And here's this one. We're going to pull off this cap right here. And this one, pull this out a little bit. That one snaps in good. All right, that one's in there. And now this green one is the very last one. That one pushed in and snapped on, and it did not come out. So everything is on, in there, tight. That's good to go. Now, we're gonna put some oil in it. And here's where the oil goes. All right. All right, we're gonna fill this thing with diesel motor oil. This is SAE 10W30 Motorcraft diesel motor oil. Use a good funnel when you're doing this. Don't try to hit that hole. You gotta put 15 quarts in this thing. You're gonna miss. Also, it's a good idea, pull your dipstick out and wipe it off before you even start adding oil. Leave it partially the way out. That way you can stick it down in there first try and without having to wipe it off. And if your truck is under warranty, I recommend using Motorcraft. After your truck's out of warranty, use whatever you want to. I don't think you'll run into a problem if something happens, but if something does happen, at least you'll have the proper motor oil in there. All right, let's get this one in there. We're gonna put 2 of these in there and we're gonna check it just to make sure. I know at least 2 of these come out. Let's go ahead and check it. See if we're even on the dipstick yet. I bet we're not even touching it. Nope. Not on there yet. So we can just stick it down in there about, partial away. You want to leave it about that much out of it. We're going to pour a half of one now. And we're going to turn around and check it. Because you never know. You might not have drained all the oil out, and you definitely do not want to overfill these. Definitely do not want to overfill them. And take your time pouring it. You won't make a mess. If you don't make a mess, you don't have to clean up much. Let's see. That's about half. So let's give her a check right quick. Just barely touching the stick. So that ain't ready yet. And I think that's just residual from pulling it in and out. It ain't on there yet. All right, let's get one more in there. Let's give it a go now and see. Oh yeah, we got some oil that time. You can definitely tell on a diesel engine where your oil is. All right, we're going to leave her there for just a little bit. We're going to start priming it again to get the system primed for the fuel filters that we replaced, because that's going to take a minute to prime up. And then we'll check the oil, and we're probably going to have to add the last couple of quarts to it. Some of your kits you may order, and it comes with this right here. Well, this is like a 17 through 19 F250. You don't really need these on the 23s, the 24s, and the 25s, and that's this piece right here. So I'm just gonna count it as an extra part and toss it back in the garbage. All right, now that I'm in my truck, you're gonna not put your foot on the brake And we're going to prime the fuel system. The way we're going to prime it is we're just going to press the power button and let it pump fuel, and then we're going to cut it off. And then we're going to cut it on. I can hear it pressurizing. Hear that? That's it pressurizing that fuel filter right there we just put in. We're going to let it prime up, and then we're going to cut it off. Now we're going to do it again. And we're going to get up here, and we're looking to make sure we ain't got fuel spraying everywhere. But you can hear the fuel. I hear it pumping up. Now, we're going to kill it. Let it stop for a minute. We still hear it down here. I mean, it is making a heck of a racket. But I assure you, nothing is wrong. It's just pressurizing that fuel filter. No drips. No drips whatsoever. All right, let's turn it back on one more time. It is pressurizing up. I believe it's just about done. Now this is about the third time or fourth time we've done this. Now I'm gonna open up the garage door. We're gonna give it a crank here in just a second. And this is how much fuel comes out of that bucket or that fuel filter. So know that when you drain that fuel filter, it's going to drain for a minute. That's at least a gallon of fuel. At least a gallon of fuel. All right, let's see. Let's pull it one more time. Okay, I hear the fuel filter sputtering just a little bit. Not bad. That's 5. All right. We're going to do this about 6 times until we get it right. I still hear it sputtering. Okay, it just quit. I'm turning it off. That's 6. We're going to do this about 7 times, maybe 10 times. Now, still hear it sputtering a little bit. Not near as bad as it was. So we'll go ahead and we will crank it up now. The way I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna put my foot on the brake. Okay, the vehicle is on. I'm gonna let the oil run for just a minute. Oil pressure light just came up, or the oil pressure gauge just came up. So I'm gonna let it run for just a minute, or not even a minute, and I'm gonna kill it. I wanna make sure that I get the proper amount of oil in it before I run it very long. So I'm gonna get out and I'm gonna check this oil and see what it looks like. Now that we've cranked it one time, and wipe this down, which I know we're going to need oil. But let's see how much we're going to need. Okay, we're going to need a bit of oil. Probably 2 quarts, which is about what I have left. That is 15 quarts of oil. Okay. All right, guys, I got one more tip. When you go to fill this thing up and you're checking the engine oil, if you start this truck, wait 20 minutes before you check that engine oil again. Let all the oil, because this is a giant motor, a big, big engine. I mean, look how big this engine is. Let all the oil come back down to where the dipstick will read properly. You don't want to overfill it. If you fill it up when it's hot, the oil's going to settle down. It's going to have too much oil in the operating system, so don't do that. Again, thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something from this video as much as I learned from other videos. And I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it'll help you with your success in your Ford trucks. But remember, I am not a professional. I am a do-it-yourselfer, and there's a huge difference. So take what I tell you with a grain of salt. Look it up, do your own information, but you'll actually see how I'm doing this right here. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe for more. Have a great day, and happy Turkey Day.